got 0 points. So it was a real struggle for all 4 of the teams at the start of the day, but can they close out the day in a more dominant fashion?
Yeah, a little bit of a drought at the bottom of the table, but 2 games to put it right. And we all know that here on Storm Point, one fight can change everything for the momentum of your day. You win that, the confidence is there. The bravado comes back as well, and all of a sudden, 3 points being the maximum that one of these teams, as you mentioned, has got from one day, when it can be picked up in just one fight. So 2 games to go here. We're into Storm Point. We do have some contests still to sort out. Yeah,
I'm going to be keeping a keen eye on Reject Winity. Can they actually win their contest? That was one of the big reasons why they weren't able to get any points on Storm Point, so we can see them diving in now. Is there going to be the same contest is my biggest question here.
We turn our attentions to that contest. Like we say, is it going to be free here, Checkpoint, or is there going to be a couple of teams still approaching? And interestingly enough, it looks like they might have it to themselves. So that is the almost the cushion of all cushions, right? You're expecting maybe something to be a little bit different, but no, it seems like there is a split going on.
Well, Fennel also struggling for points, and they decide, well, maybe this contest is not going to help us either, and they've decided to drop in and around the checkpoint areas. You can see they're kind of split, or sorry, I can see on the map, they are kind of split, whereas Reject will get the majority of the checkpoint location. So now we can check in with Fennel. Both these teams, remember, in the bottom 4, and certainly could be eliminated here today.
I mean, I don't want to cut you off, and I hate to do so, but if you are Reject and Fennel right now, look at that zone. The question is there a ring console near them that is going to give them that information to get those priority positions? And I'm kind of squinting, trying to see through. Yes, indeed, Reject have it. So Fennel deciding to split the loot might be good in some ways, but they've given up the ring console that's going to give them the guaranteed information of where this zone is going. So for Reject, it doesn't get better. Opportunity-wise, it doesn't get better. To put points on the board, knowing you can get a prior position, they have to make the most of this game.
Yeah, this is really bad news for Makers and Pioneers, the 2 teams who are in tied last position on 12 points. They are 5 behind Fennel and Reject Winity at the moment. So all you need is like a pretty average game here at Checkpoint, and you should be able to secure your spot at least in the tournament and not be eliminated here today. But maybe you want to try and go that one step further. Maybe you do want to still get into that top 9. It's still achievable in 2 matches as NIP, they are another squad who are outside of the top 9 right now. 31 points, but still have that chance to get within the top 9 if they can get a good game under their belt.
Just to give you an indication of where the ninth place point total is going into this game, it's GHS Professional who currently hold it on 44 points. So it needs to be a pretty good game from NIP to force their way in. Also, of course, the teams above them don't pick up points as well to kind of make that a little bit more simple. But you can see that they're trying to rotate at the moment. It's interesting to see that actually, you know, FL are holding down the tunnel between where NIP find themselves right now. And Fennel they were the team who was splitting the loot, like we mentioned, over at Checkpoint. And they decided to move away and hold that tunnel. Now, it's good to hold teams out, right, if you play for some KP. But one fight goes wrong for them and the team tries to force it. It could be a tough spot to hold.
We're seeing a lot of changes, actually 5 composition changes as well coming into Storm Point. We're also seeing a Conduit featuring Liquid of deciding to play a little bit of Conduit on their side, alongside Horizon and Pathfinder. So really just trying out everything at this point to see if they can pull out the stops and maybe catch the lobby leaders as we check in with GK to see their rotation through. But they are going to be able to have a good position like above NIP and KCP at the moment.
Well, take a little bit of damage as they do try and move forward. So it looks like a plan A ain't working. Let's try plan B. Phoenix kick can be popped here by Raki. That'll get him back up to full health and should be able to maybe rethink what their approach is going to be. They see they have ring console information. They are going to be safe not just in this zone, but the next as well. And it's time to take out the pests, take out the bugs. A couple of spiders to be blown up just to help them on their loot.
It's a little bit concerning for KCP, who are very close to GK, and if you know, you do get sent on. When you are on the bottom amount of points, you're on 12 points, you're at the bottom of the leaderboard, you're going to play a very different way. You're going to be kind of scared about what could happen around you. But we'll have to see whether maybe they try and take a little bit of a risk here, because it's very easy to think, okay, I'm at the bottom of the leaderboard, maybe we should just play a little bit more conservative, we'll play a little bit more passive. That can just lead to more loss. That can lead to more fights not going your way. Sometimes if you want to flip the script, you actually have to get a little bit more aggressive, but the zone can play a big part in that as to whether you want to try and play in that way.
So for now, kind of a little bit of a quiet start, you would say, here on Storm Point. Nobody really taking any isolated fights. There really hasn't been the opportunity to. A lot of teams are actually stacked up on our map overhead that we can see at the moment. on the east side of where this zone is going to be pulling. Team Falcons have headed over to Checkpoint, which is a very smart rotate from them. Maybe they're just playing for ring console information, or they believe it could be pulling back towards them. But I like the split of the mountain range right now, Dan. The fact that we have a lot of teams banking on the eastern side and some still kind of hanging around in the Checkpoint area.
Yeah, there are a few teams still lingering like a bad smell at the moment, but that might be the case where others try and fight those positions away. But Disguised are making their move. They're fighting for 9th position. Let's jump into a listen and see how they're doing.
They're evac now?
Yeah, right in the choke, right in the choke. 3 shots on that.
Yeah.
They're trying to go third party, checkpoint. Let's walk up, let's take the building.
Can we hit beacon now?
We're trying to go third party that. There's people in the building, or in the choke. Let's just chill, let's just chill.
Let's check out that way.
Well, it's not on us.
We might go up checkpoint third of that.
Can you confirm smoking?
Keep eyes on right.
Yeah, 1 second.
I don't know if it's... What is smoking?
It should be double. Watch last choke. Everyone's playing for this.
Yeah, one
Teams are playing for checkpoint.
Let's go over there.
Push forward. There's no,
We can fight this.
I might take a...
Out the comms back into the game, and it seems like Disguise tried to maybe think about playing up towards Checkpoint, but saw there was multiple teams there, so it looks like a little bit of a change of plan for them. You can see they're wrapping around and maybe about to engage with GK Esports, who are just up ahead of them on this choke.
This is such a nervy game, by the way. Remember, if we were to see the likes of Pioneers or Makers get eliminated, that could be them out of the tournament and their key being crushed. By the way, found out who gets to crush the key. It's whoever wins this group. So in the moment, it would be Falcons. But they haven't won it yet. They still have 2 games left. Twisted Minds are certainly on the hunt.
Well, we mentioned how ring console information is one of the most valuable pieces of info you can get in all of Apex Legends. And we mentioned also how there was a split between teams on the eastern side and the Checkpoint side of the mountain range. Well, good news if you went with the Checkpoint side, or maybe you played for that next beacon, because Checkpoint side is where it's going to be pulling. So Falcons up on Checkpoint, they're feeling very good with themselves. You've got Icholo's Laser, they're there as well. You've also got Guild Esports and FaZe who are playing the choke. So all of those teams you would expect to see in towards our end game as we jump over for the POV of Team Liquid, who have got a long road ahead of them.
And as I said, a change of composition for Team Liquid, something a little bit different. Conduit usually indicates they were prepping for some sort of contest that was going to be happening on their side of the map, just in case it came their way. 73 points, a little bit too far behind the likes of Team Falcons now. It would only be Twisted Minds to catch them, but Team Liquid can still put themselves in a fantastic position for those finals to try and get points on the board to give them some sort of advantage. But at the moment, it looks like they will try and take this fight. It's from a little bit of a distance, so I'm not sure whether it will actually finish off here.
Well, Crazy Raccoon are on the other side of this, and you can see that one thing that they do have on their side is an aggressive composition for fighting here, Team Liquid. The Horizon is going to be able to use that grab lift. Elsewhere, though, we'll leave that for a second, because RC are going up against Disguise. Disguise, by the way, keep a note, 10th place overall. The top 9 will advance to the finals. If it stays as it is and Disguise fall out of the lobby right now, they will go into the last chance lobby and they will have to fight their way back. So this is a huge moment for Disguise.
Yeah, of course, one more match to then gain those points, but it would be a very difficult situation for them. You don't want to be in that spot where you have to fight tooth and nail in match number 10. Instead, get the job done now. Put yourself in one of those safe scenarios where you can at least have a more comfortable match 10. LG, speaking of comfort, they don't have much of it in the moment. Funk's gone down and will be taken all the way down.
Elsewhere, Crazy Raccoon have been eliminated. It was Team Liquid who we left that fight with a few moments ago, where they managed to clean it up, and it was a pretty clean-looking fight by the looks of things. So Crazy Raccoon will be our first team out, and Reject will be out as well.
That's great news for Makers and Pioneers. You can catch them up in this game.
Not good news for Reject, though.
No, and it's not good news for Reject. It means now going into match 10, they could potentially be in last place going into match 10, right? You've given the opportunity to Makers and Pioneers to catch you up here. This had to be Reject's chance. We looked at where Reject were dropping and we thought, okay, well, surely there's points on the board for them here. No, will not be.
Well, GG, who are in 6th at the moment, their job is to solidify their place inside of the top 9. We've seen some pretty good performances from them today, some pretty good games put together. However, a little bit of a swing that really didn't work out there from Light. Lufka's trying to back him up. There is going to be one knock on either side at the moment. Elsewhere, you can see FaZe getting a little bit involved with this. So 3 teams in the vicinity here down at the southern side of checkpoint. Look at Quan quite connect with those final shots there to get the knock, and now has to try and escape with his life.
Yeah, trying to escape and should be able to survive for a short while, probably enough to get the bat. And GG are clinging on at this point. You can see Guild are in the same area. Aurora are now pressing up on this one as well. I'm a little bit concerned for GG. If they don't get the chance to reset, Aurora may just jump in on this one because it is full reds. And remember, Aurora got a win on Stormpoint at the start of the day here. 4th place at the moment, looking to try and solidify some more points.
Yeah, no surprise to see Aurora on full reds with the zone where it is and the way they've been able to path their way towards the zone, picking up all those Evo harvesters and all the goodies that come alongside it. Disguised! 1 is down, and this is a massive moment for them.
Yeah, they don't want to fall behind the chasing pack, or be part of the chasing pack, should I say. Instead, it looks like they are down to just a 2. Can Wraith come in handy?
Well, they've got to get in a position to get the meds off. This is the thing. Designful's down to just a slither of health. He's going to be able to just about pop the syringe. Should be able to get the med kit off to follow. But QZR has been finished, so Disguised, it's going to be the game as a 2, and they are still trapped on the northern side of this zone. It's not just them, it's Twisted Minds, GK Esports, Luminosity, all these teams are in the vicinity. It's looking like a rough spot for them.
A rough spot indeed. We can look back at Red Rams and the fight they were able to take earlier as well, and a very successful one as it was Funk taken down. Remember, we saw that happening. Crazy Raccoon also got eliminated. Back to Disguise though, Designful, last remaining player.
Enemies down, so it's all up to Designful now, and even though there is another game ahead of us, this isn't the final game of the day. It certainly is the penultimate one, and maybe Designful's going to be able to do something a little bit magic here. He gets 1 knock, but not going to be able to get the second. And DSG, look at the reaction there from Designful. He is not a happy bunny, and that's pressure for you, right? That's the reaction you have when you know that you might have just thrown away an opportunity.
Yeah, we check in with GHS. Remember, they are the team that were 1 position ahead of Disguise, so now they can create a gap here. Can GHS. They were only 2 points ahead of Disguise coming into this. If you want to create a bigger gap, you can put yourself in a far better position to getting into those finals here on Sunday. But for the side of Disguise, we'll get back to that later.
GHS trying to push in here, trying to be aggressive. Still in 9th spot. You can see the EMP going down as well from Wabu, which is going to not only maybe get some stuns, it's going to destroy all of those fences that were in front of them. So NIP inside. And GHS in 9th. NIP, by the way, coming into this game on 13th. So this is an opportunity. If GHS win this one, they might solidify a spot going into that final game. But for NIP, if they can win this fight, then all of a sudden, things open up for them. However, speaking of the opener, Nasky will go down first. Zane will follow as well. It's 3 players against 1 of NIP, and that will be them dead. NIP eliminated as Team Liquid arrive for the 3rd party.
Well, Liquid fly on in, and you mentioned they've got a fighting composition, and boy, are they ready to fight. GHS go down. That is good news for the chasing pack that are trying to get into that top 9. But for Team Liquid, they are trying to chase that top 2 at the moment, or just try and solidify top 3. Speaking of top 2, Falcons in and around this building have taken a lot of damage.
Well, the team that's now in 11th place is going to be EXL, who are on your screens right now. 40 points for them. A reminder, coming into this game, GHS had 44. Now, we did see them just pick up a couple of points themselves with some kills. GK Esports will be eliminated in the meantime, as will Twisted Minds, which is good news for Falcons fans, because they were the closest to them at the top. And Aurora have just gone down on the southern side of the zone as well.
Going down like flies, Team Falcons will be eliminated, so Twisted Minds still will be within touching distance going into match number 10, but suddenly it's 9 squads. What is happening in the lobby at the moment? Everyone falling down, and there's only, what, 4 teams that are within the next zone, so all these other 5 squads still have to move from the northeast side.
I think we're starting to see a little bit of desperation coming in from teams, right? Teams trying to force fights, trying to overextend, thinking, hey, if we just win this fight, maybe that'll be enough. Let's take the fight. And elsewhere, you can see that KCP, they're not in a very good spot either. A couple of kills being picked up for them, and it's Makers who are getting the point.
Massive fight. 2 of the teams are at the bottom of the leaderboard right now. Makers versus Pioneers. Makers get the first kill. KCP down on the low ground, but they have been able to escape the sightlines of Makers. But it is just a case of trying to survive, get as much points as possible. You can see live standings. Pioneers on 17 points. They're in 19th. Makers are currently in 20th on 16 points. It is so close between these two. It's going to come down to match 10. We know it, but you could potentially put yourself further ahead with some kills here.
With a bow check, the arrows are flying through the skies and tearing through the oxygen and hitting some bodies on their way forward as well. However, no, not going to come in for now. Now they've got to be careful of what's behind them. They've also got to be careful of what's in front of them as one player will fall.
That's a pinch and a half, and now Makers, you're going to have to fight out of a bad situation between a rock and a hard place, as it's going to be Evos on the flip side. They'll do the damage, and sadly, it doesn't look like Makers are going to survive this one.
Well, this is great news for Pioneers, right? They're in 19th place. They were worried because they had that first player go down, but now business is taking care of itself by surviving for long enough. Evos have done the work for them. A huge moment in what could be the final standings of this lobby.
Yeah, realistically, you need to see a team that's below you get eliminated, and it could just give you that bonus going into match number 10, knowing you have that lead as Makers do get eliminated. So they will be in 20th position going into match 10 here, and they're going to have to rescue something from the last game of the day.
For Evos, it's about creating a little bit of space between them and that that 20th position we talked about, right? If they can do so, they'll feel a lot more comfortable going into our final game, but they're not looking too comfortable now as they're going to lose one player on their way forward. However, they will exchange one. Fennel will be eliminated. It's all up to the last player alive here to try and get something going as we move away. Fennel will be eliminated. Evos Esports will also go. And now the 11th place squad.
By the way, Pioneer's still alive.
Pioneer's still alive, but EXL are in 11th. They're closing in on top 9.
Yeah, there is points up for grabs here, because remember, we saw the big teams eliminated early. As you can see, KCP, Omnu's gone down, so it will be Luminosity falling as well. So KCP still survived to top 5. Those points could be massive for their chances of staying alive in this tournament.
EXL up into 10th. Up into 10th. One spot away now. If they were to finish the next game inside that top 9, and remember, we have one game on Storm Point after this one's done, then they will be going through to the finals. These really are some nervy moments in these lobbies. One team is probably not feeling quite too nervous right now is Team Liquid, though. 3rd place overall, and with a great spot here to just fire down on everyone who's in front of them.
Liquid certainly closing in on Twisted Minds and a chance at top 2 here.
That's a banger.
Try and put yourself in a good position for the finals. A great grenade as Pioneers will fall, but 5th position is much needed points they so desperately require.
The EXL still with this opportunity. Force your way into the top 9. Put your fate and your destiny in your own hands. A couple more points and they might just do that heading into the final game of Storm Point. FaZe in 7th place coming into this game certainly looked like they might have improved on things at the end of it, but this is the team to watch, surely. This is the opportunity they would have dreamt of.
Yeah, FaZe up into 5th position now, 64 points, creating that gap between themselves and 9th place. But EXL are chasing that 9th place, but they're going to get sucked out of the door, and they need to be careful here.
That's a Liquid black hole coming in from the horizon. But they do survive just long enough. The issue for them is they have to move out of that one door. FaZe, by the way, have so much space in this zone. They control the entirety of the northern edge.
Contact on my marker.
Synetic barking out instructions to his teammates as well, trying to hold down so many positions. It's not the first time we've seen FaZe in this kind of spot, right? Think back to Kings Canyon. They commanded so much space, but weren't able to clutch the win. Is this going to be different in this game?
And this should all but secure FaZe's spot in the finals, but it's EXL now making their move, and boy, do they need these points. Boy, do they need the damage, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough here.
Just one knock would be massive. Just one knock might be enough. There's so much damage done, but they can't make the most of it. Is that a moment they'll look back on as an opportunity to just slip through their fingers?
Well, now a chance for points to be grabbed here by FaZe. Create that gap to 9th once more. Synetic's taking a lot, though, and all that space they had suddenly in the open area, and it looks like a team like Gaming Gladiators could take advantage.
GG, who are up into 4th place in the overalls, by the way, might have that opportunity that you mentioned. However, one team who might be looking to close the gap onto 2nd place is going to be Team Liquid. And Nizel has got the biggest gun in the game.
Yeah, Liquid fighting for 2nd. He's got a Kraber to work with now, does Nizel. This is 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the lobby, by the way, that are all competing in the final 3. So there's no teams that are fighting for that top 9 that are really in this. And instead, it's about trying to solidify more advantage points going into that grand final.
He's going to hit the next one. Promise you that. There's no way he doesn't hit the next one.
You lied to me.
Hey, I lied to you. I'm sorry, everyone.
There's no way he doesn't miss the next one.
No way he doesn't miss the next one. I mean, as far as the overall standings go here between these teams, not a huge shift is going to happen, right? Like you mentioned, it's 5th, it's 4th, it's 3rd. So everyone's going to stay in and around the same. But Team Liquid have taken some damage. They take all of the damage in the lobby. They will be eliminated as FaZe now make their move.
Yeah, the implications here is getting more points going into the final. Get as much as possible so you can have advantage points going into that Sunday competition. FaZe Clan looking incredible. They have the height and they've got the kill.
Yeah, this should be an end game that's just very, very simple for FaZe to close out. GG trapped on the low ground. You saw they got that knock as well. They're sending everything down. Light is probably looking up and hoping that the heavens will open for him at this point, because it's not looking like he's going to have an opportunity to get out of this situation.
It is just a matter of time now, and actually FaZe, they get fed up with waiting, and FaZe will secure a victory that sends them into the
And we have to decide who is going to be here moving forward and who is going to be jumping ahead to those finals on Sunday. Long way to come for a lot of these players. Got to make the trip worth it.
Falcons have all but secured first place, but there's still a small job to do. There is still that off chance of an unbelievable historic game that we still have to, you have to give the respect to Twisted Minds.
It'd be funny if Twisted Minds dropped on them. I mean, I'm just saying, no POI draft.
No POI draft, it could happen. We, of course, follow GG after their success in the previous games as well, and we'll have to see whether they can replicate said success from previous games in this tournament. But for other squads, Reject and Fennel, it looks like they have split the POI of Checkpoint once more, so there will not be a contest happening elsewhere on Stormpoint.
Well, interesting to see where the zone is going to be going. And let me tell you where it's going. This looks like a Jurassic zone if ever I've seen one. It is very good news for Esports there, and I'm trying to just look if they have a ring console as well to give them that information. Can't quite see for now. We'll check in on that in a moment. But FaZe, great zone for them. Great prio for Team Liquid. Great prio as well. But we kind of got to look at the teams who are at the very bottom, right? What's their priority like to this zone? We're talking about Makers. We're talking about Pioneers. Pioneers from Command generally, have pretty good access, I would say, to most zones, just because of the fact that you can hit that evac and you can use the cannon over a command center to get to the southern side of the map pretty easily. But for Makers, this is a little bit of a journey for them. Downhill, of course, dropping over at the wall, but they're going to be beaten there by a lot of teams. Yeah,
there's going to be a long old journey for a lot of squads. I mean, I guess one of them is Gaming Gladiators that are on our screen right now. They will have to worry about Crazy Raccoon and Evos being next to them, and ahead of them, FaZe. And we already saw what FaZe were able to do in the previous game versus GG as well. But it's really going to be looking at that top 9 and, of course, the bottom 2. I'm worried for these bottom teams, and Reject, Winity and Fennel have already started moving, by the way, and it looks like they might be under a bit of fire.
Well, GK Esports are on our screens at the moment. They're part of that chasing pack, if I'm not mistaken, who are trying to qualify into that grand finals on Sunday. The top 9, remember, and I know I'm repeating it a lot, but if you're just joining the broadcast, we want to make sure you know exactly what's on the line here in this final game of the day. And I've got to say, considering this is an extended series today, 10 games, it's absolutely flown past.
It really has. It's been a great day of Apex Legends, but we'll have to see whether it can end in, is it going to be triumph for someone, or is it going to be utter sadness? I guess we might have both triumph and sadness.
We will,
to be completely honest. But there's a lot of teams that have already made it, by the way, down towards Jurassic Park. And there's not much room to play. There's a little bit of buildings you can work with, but once this starts to fill up, there's not going to be room for many other teams to find their spot here.
Kuram is trying to hold off any pushes at the moment. You can see he's kind of turning his attention left and right. As for the team coming through the tunnel, look at the kill feed though. Oh, this is a back and forth fight going on between Ninjas in Pajamas and Fennel. Looks like there's kind of one player up on either side, and that could have a huge impact as Fennel will be eliminated, because here comes Fennel eliminated. Ninjas in Pajamas eliminated as well.
Fennel eliminated. Remember, they were in 17th. Will they be okay? Is there a catch-up possibility for the 3 teams below them? As for NIP, that means they will not be progressing to the finals, and instead will need that last chance to get into finals on Sunday. And it is going to be very difficult to do so. But now we see Team Liquid having a fight. LG also taking on Reject Winity. This could be massive. Reject Winity, they cannot go down.
I mean, LG might be the Grim Reapers of the lobby here. They don't care where you're placing. They don't care what's on the line for your team. They just want the points themselves. As Funk and Sweet combine to take down 2 members. And the task just got even tougher here for RC. But Dogma did escape. And is it going to be the great escape from here?
If Reject Winity are eliminated, that would mean Makers would only need 2 points, and it would send Reject Winity home. But they did survive. That one solo player. If you can get to the top 15, that's 1 more point. If you get in the top 10, that is 2 more points. It is still life on the line here. There is still an opportunity for Reject Winity.
nervy moments for everybody at the moment, wherever you're watching from across the globe. If you're an APAC North fan, obviously you're going to be rooting for your boys, wanting to see them come good here. As we take a look at our map overhead now, we mentioned how Jurassic is going to be extremely busy. Well, you can see that on your screen right now. A lot of teams already made their way into zone. Reject, you can see them, by the way. I think Dogburger's going to go back for those banners, and Luminosity are moving away. If he can get the banners, he can go back towards checkpoint, he can get the res. Game is not done. Tournament is not done yet.
Look at this from Makers as well. Right on the north side of the map, up at Wall, they have gone quite far away from this zone, and this could be just an attempt at surviving. Sadly for them, Disguise very close. And remember, if Makers were to be eliminated here, they would be the team getting eliminated from the competition because they're currently in last place. They need points, and they probably want to see Reject Winnity in that kill feed.
It's an interesting point you actually raised there. Very interesting game plan coming in from Makers, right? You can see they've made absolutely no attempt to rotate whatsoever. They are playing right at the northern side, still inside of Wall where they dropped. And yeah, they're going to be able to hit the next ring console when the zone closes as well. But for now, it looks like they're actually going to take the big zip up towards Zoo Station. So avoid everyone. Let everyone else kill each other, and we may be able to get enough points ourselves from that.
Outlive Reject Winnity is the game plan here.
Survival game, right?
Just survive. It's a battle royale at the end of the day, but there's always that scary idea that you might try and play late, but there could be other teams up in the areas you are rotating to. So we'll see if the plan pays off. Remember, there's still one member of Reject Winnity that is still alive, trying to grasp points for that squad as well. All the meanwhile, GG making their rotation through zone. They're in 5th place. They're pretty comfortable. They are chasing to try and finish in a higher position, maybe get into that top 4, but they will be comfortably going through to finals.
You can see in your map overhead, they're right in the middle by Cascade Falls. Reject still alive, but it is still the solo player, if I'm not mistaken. Now, Luminosity are not leaving these banners, by the way. You can see they're still in the same spot outside the tunnel. They know that Reject have got to come back. I don't know if they obviously know it's Reject, of course, but they're just thinking this is an extra KP for us. If the player comes back and he plays for banners, that's a free kill for us. So LG playing the game of patience that Reject really can't afford to play, although it looks like actually Reject might be sticking the reds actually up on the height of the waterfall.
There is still life here for Reject Winnity. They're going to be back up to a full 3, but Luminosity, they were waiting in the area, as you said. And if they do send it, this is worrying times for Reject, but at least they have the high ground and the damage they were able to lay down onto Funk just kept LG at bay.
Well, they say that a hero can save us, and Dogma's not going to stand here and wait. He gets those banners, he gets back to the res beacon, and somehow or other gets both of his teammates back into this game. That is a monster play from him.
So Disguised have moved away from Makers. That will leave Makers alive for now. And again, they're just playing the surviving game. As for Disguised, it's a very different game here. Trying to get into the top 9. They were 4 points behind 9th position coming into this. That is as simple as a couple of team fights, even one team fight, and getting into the top 10. And that might be enough, depending on what happens above you. But you want to keep this within your hands, of course. But we saw the disappointment in the previous match when Disguise got eliminated because they knew they would have it all to do here in the 10th match.
I just felt the previous game was one of those games where you're watching the decisions being made and it feels like no decision is being made that's a positive one. It's kind of let's see and wait what happens, and then you end up putting yourself between too many teams to escape from, and the zone closes behind you, and essentially you have your decisions made for you because you weren't proactive enough. Red Rams then trying to fire through the bushes and the palm trees with the longbow in their hands as well. They're in the 15th spot at the moment. Should be okay.
Should be okay, but Pioneers down below them, and Pioneers, you know, they've got a little bit to do here to try and get away from the other teams that are chasing them as well. So they probably won't want to take this fight. It's a really worrying situation for them.
GG just lost 1 in the kill feed. Blast did go down, if my eyes did not deceive me. And elsewhere on the edge of zone, KCP are zone wrapping. GG down to just 1 here. Light is the last player alive for now on the Bangalore, which is going to allow him maybe just a little bit of double time to get out of dodge. However, the shots aren't connecting and GG will go down, but job done for them today. 5th place overall as they fall out of the lobby.
So 17 teams left. Just 2 more teams need to be eliminated before
KCP's
points
alive.
start to be distributed just via placement. As you mentioned, 18th position Pioneers still alive and still ahead of the likes of Fennel and Reject Winnity. but the zone is closing in. It's decision time for Pioneers. Where do you go here? Do you try and force yourself north against Red Rams, who were previously taking fire at you, and now you're going to lose one? It's looking pretty dicey.
Should be a safe. Should be okay here. You can see that the zone is going to be closing, but they're going to be able to get into zone and should be able to get that res off. But Pioneers at the moment are playing a dangerous, dangerous game. Luminosity eliminated in the meantime. Team Liquid Alienware continue their run today. They've been very impressive, by the way. Team Liquid Alienware, their comeback this season has been something to study. Very, very strong.
They've been incredible. Luminosity, by the way, should have done more than enough to be able to get through to the finals on Sunday as well. So we'll be seeing them on your screens when the grand finals come around. Aurora have just lost one in the kill feed, but all the bottom teams still alive.
Still alive.
Everyone at the moment playing very safe. Reject Winity are up at Cascade Falls. Makers are still moving from the north as well. It is really a game of survival.
Well, my favorite player cam in all of Apex Legends is on screen right now. Was on screen.
Was.
Empty. It's back. It's gone again.
It's gone.
But I think MT's face, his game face, kind of sums up how we're all feeling right now. How we're all watching this game, right? It is complete focus. Nobody can afford to take their eyes off the ball at this point, because this could be the end of the tournament. Red Rams have been eliminated in the meantime, and it's KCP who get the points!
So Red Rams were holding out KCP for quite some time. By the way, on the map feed, Makers made it from the north to center zone. Makers are in one of the best positions in the game right now. That's terrible news for the likes of Reject Winity.
Great news for them, though. Great
Always
news
two
for them.
sides to every coin.
It's very, very true. DSG, who are in 11th. A little bit of a different story for them. Aurora eliminated in the meantime, but they are inside of that top 9. Should be safe to get through to that Sunday finals. DSG, it's like they feel close, and it does feel close, right? You look at 11th place, you're like, oh, we can't be too far away from 9th, but knowing that other teams are still in the lobby alive ahead of you, that's the problem for them.
So Reject Winity have got a couple of kills on board. They are 3 points ahead of Makers. But Disguise at the moment, they are still chasing this top 9.
Such a tight endgame, and it's going to be an extremely, extremely tight moment. Guild, listen in, is ready for us to fire. Let's see what their next move is going to be.
Yeah, netting them. Running at us. 50 on path. Right side. I just stood down. I died. Oh, fuck, man. 2 points. There's no way that I left that game.
Well, you can see already, I mean, Guild Esports didn't put up much of a fight in that one, but immediately the conversation turns from what happened to 2 points. Is that going to be enough? They were in 9th when they died. Well, will that be enough? Look at the kill feed, though. DSG get one onto KCP.
KCP did put some points on the board. Have they created enough of a gap between themselves and Reject Winity and Makers, those who were below them? But Designful and the rest of the squad here on Disguise, they need points. They are chasing. 45 points they find themselves on. They are so close to this top 9 now. They cannot afford to fall here at this point.
And Design realizes this is an opportunity, right? Because they got the finish as well. So now, if they can isolate this fight, it could be a 3v2 that they should be able to clean up. However, there's also a team gatekeeping them now in Jurassic, and QZ has gone down, and the zone is causing problems again. DSG are caught on the edge of zone once more.
DSG, their chances of getting to the finals here is in the hands of Designful, the hands of enemy, but they're not being shot. It's because it's on the other side. It's Pioneers who are playing very passive here.
Oh, look, you can see Designful shake of the head, frustration, understandably so. He's left on his own. Pioneers have been eliminated. Will it be enough for them to be here on Sunday? And can the man on your screen do something magical? Team Liquid eliminated, FaZe eliminated. But Designful still stands. How'd you get out of this one if you're Designful?
I mean, if you want to be any legend, Wraith is one of the best to be, right? He gets the med pack off. Now you've got to try and make the move. Use that Q to full advantage to try and kind of pass everyone who's holding you at this gate, but it is not going to be easy. GK is still alive right now as well, but only on blues.
I think the best thing here for Designful is the fact that GK are engaging with the team up on hills, right? And Twisted Minds, which could create just an opportunity for them to move through. Reject Winity have been eliminated. And Designful, he manages to pick up a kill. Can he get the finish though?
Gets the kill, but more importantly, gets out of the zone. By the way, Reject Winity eliminated. It opens things up for Makers, but Makers still in last place right now. They were a few points behind Reject Winity. And Designful fighting tooth and nail.
Designful manages to get one. He's still alive here. Half health. Can he get it? Oh my, Designful! Twisted Minds get destroyed at the hands of Designful. What a play that could be.
I mean, they might have Twisted Minds after that one, but now GHS looking to try and do the same thing. Can they be the ones to take down Designful? Surely not twice, but disguised into ninth position. Will they be caught by anyone else? Has Designful just pulled off a madness for them as GHS, they're in 8th spot. They should be good now. 7 squads remain, by the way.
GK in 12th. Maybe they are the one team that could upset things here. They have an opportunity, but what a moment that was for Designful and DSG fans. I'm not sure if it was a 2v1 or a 1v1, but who cares? Because it felt like Designful was 3 men on a mission there.
Unbelievable, and it's really going to be looking that and saying it could be one of the biggest fights for them. Speaking of big fights, Falcon's still alive and still ruining the hopes and dreams of other teams in this lobby. But at the moment, only 2 of them still here. But we've seen it before, you can do damage, but now how the last remaining player, surely you can't get out of this one. Will not. 5 teams remain. One of them is Makers, and Makers have just overtaken Reject Winity. Reject Winity will be eliminated from this tournament. Their key will be crushed.
I mean, talk about leaving it late. Talk about making decisions. GK Esports eliminated in the meantime. They were 11th, and now EXL with that elimination, with another team falling, have got themselves into the 9th place position.
It's been back and forth in the top 9. It could be heartbreak, of course, for Disguise, who previously held that position. But realistically, we've got to talk about Makers for a second. They were in last place coming into this game. Now they are center zone. They are in the top 4. They've surpassed that position of 19th, and they have knocked Reject Winity out of this tournament.
I mean, it's a rotation that dreams are made of, right? I mean, we were looking at it, we're like, well, this is interesting. I wonder what they're trying to cook up here. Landing over a wall, stayed at wall. Did not make any attempt whatsoever to move towards that zone. Zipped all the way to the northern side, and then somehow managed to wrap the whole lobby to get into this position. It's a masterful piece of navigation to get to this spot, and it has been enough for them to stay alive in the tournament.
Heartbreak, of course, for Disguised, even though the crazy efforts from Designful, they will be in 10th position currently, so they will have to go into that last chance competition on Saturday.
That place is a shark pit. That is tough to get out of, man. Zone 5 starts to close as well. We see Crazy Raccoon having a little poke and a prod.
Well, currently we have 19th, 13th, 14th, and 9th still alive. EXL, of course, just need to out-survive the others. It's going to be a very tall task for Crazy Raccoon to try and catch them at this point, as they are 11 points off of it. But if they were to get every single kill here, it's still doable if EXL were the first team to fall. So it's not job done yet, but they are very close, the EXL, to securing their spot in the grand finals.
Makers are getting a few kills as well, taking down 1 player from Evos. As Crazy Raccoon they need to step forward as well. Bow check in the hands of Shangyun here. Those shots are going to be a little bit more tough by that perfectly placed smoke grenade.
Also, how crazy, by the way, Reject Winity, the fact that, you know, that organization winning a LAN, of course, different players, but the organization winning a LAN to now being knocked out first
to not
at the
qualify
Esports World Cup.
As well, I mean, it's been a real turnaround, and after the extreme highs, there has certainly been some low of lows for them. EXL trying to make their move now. 2 of them gone down, though. And you mentioned how Crazy Raccoon might be able to do something. And maybe Kurev's going to do it for him. Ex-Cholos, laser, eliminated. Here come Crazy Raccoon.
Crazy Raccoon, they're about 6 points away. There is still a chance here. This is a little bit worrying now. We talked about biting your nails and chewing you off. You might chew your fingers off at this point.
There's one finish. There's the challenge. Can they get the kill? Crazy Raccoon will be champion.